It's late October in southwest Wisconsin, and the deer are starting to move in their pre-rut patterns. Racing home from work early, I have a couple of hours to sit in the blind over a field of clover during a light fall rainstorm. Now, I still haven't tagged a shooter buck off our property, though I've seen some big mature deer on our trail cameras this year. A nice buck is always first on my list, but if given the chance today, I'll be just as happy to put a doe in the freezer.
Headed out for another afternoon in the rain, which means we're going to be sitting in the blind. Did not hunt this morning. Had really heavy rain last night. When I woke up and went into work, saw that there were quite a few deer in the neighbor's field that were really moving around, including two bucks that were about to square off and fight. So it's a little after 3:30. We're done with work for the day. We're going to head out, sit in the blind for a bit, see if we might have something move on by. wow. I think we got a decent shot on there. I might have hit her a little high, but we'll have to see. I'm not sure if she went down. Pretty sure I tagged the right one. Obviously I don't want to shoot the bucks, but he was in the lead and the other three were following her around. Took a shot right about a little over 20 yards. She didn't stop real well. I only had a brief moment to make the shot. As I said, we might have hit her a little high. It didn't look like the arrow passed through, but it looked like we had decent penetration. So hopefully we got a clean kill. Well, as I said, it wasn't a pass through here, but we got a fair amount of blood. I got a little bit of white hair, so I might have hit her a little bit low. We'll have to see. We're going to give her a little bit here, but I don't want to go too long because it's raining. It might be a little more difficult to track her, but we got a decent amount of blood. Well, we pushed about 50, 75 yards down the hill, and it got dark pretty quick here, and it's just been raining nonstop. So I really don't want to push our luck right now. You know, it's kind of a debate. We got a little bit of blood on the ground. Do we try to keep following it in the dark before it all washes away, or, you know, do we come back tomorrow morning? You know, we didn't have a perfect pass-through shot. I know that for sure. So I'm inclined just to let her sit for a while. I think there's a good chance she's bedded down about 150, 200 yards down the hill. There's a ravine down there with some thick brush and some trails that come in and out of it. So I got a pretty good idea where she'd be. I just don't want to push our luck. If we go traipsing through there tonight and kick her up with this rain, we'll never pick up a trail in the morning. So I think we'll let her sit. Hopefully nature will run its course quickly if it hasn't already. It's tough leaving a deer in the woods overnight. You know, it's going to be tough to get to sleep tonight. You shoot, you know, one of these animals and you want to make every effort you can to make sure you recover it. So I'm pretty confident that we'll find her tomorrow morning, and we'll be able to get her in the freezer. It rained quite a bit last night, so I don't think we're going to have much luck with the blood trail, but got a couple pretty good ideas where she would have bedded down, and she might even just be in this field up here. That's what I'm going to hope. You know, I thought more about my shot. I went back, reviewed the video a little bit, and it didn't look that bad. So I think what might have happened is the arrow might have penetrated, hit the opposite shoulder and broke off inside there. So, you know, we're shooting Rage 2-blade expandables, the big 2 inches with the chisel tip. So I don't think we should have any problem getting a lethal wound out of that. It's just a matter of finding the deer now. So we're going to start checking. Hopefully we can find her quick here. You know, my big concern now, we have a lot of coyotes in this area, and I guess my big concern now is finding her before the coyotes do. Hopefully they haven't yet. Yeah. Oh, man. Yeah, the coyote's got her. Son of a gun. Yeah, there's our entry wound. It was actually a pretty decent shot. You know, in the past, I've pushed after deer like that, and I bumped them, and I've wound up on real long tracks. I've lost one in the past, and found another after about 4 hours. So, you know, you draw on your experience and, you know, and your knowledge that you've picked up from other people or hunting over the years. I don't know, still not being 100% sure of the kind of hit we got just because of the rain and the lack of blood. I gotta think that'd be the call that I'd make again.
I tagged the deer and headed out to my stand for another afternoon of hunting. As I made my way back up the hill, I realized I had skipped breakfast, and the feeling of hunger was starting to gnaw at my stomach. While it was comforting to know food from our grocery store was waiting for my return in our pantry, many who had hunted this land before me would not have had such a safety net were they to fail in recovering an animal from their hunt. Sitting in my stand with an empty stomach seemed fitting, and for a few hours I happily accepted it as a small burden for failing to bring home any meat. I was relieved to know, however, that my hunger would not be shared with the rest of my family, a comfort hunters many generations ago would not have experienced. While I was disappointed at losing this deer to the coyotes, I could hardly blame them for taking advantage of an easy meal, and it gave me some comfort knowing that this deer was not really going to waste. As a hunter, it can be easy to get angry at predators. While it's critically important that we take steps to manage their population based on sound conservation practices and science, the simple truth is that we are predators ourselves, the apex predator, kings of the forest. This is a position that our modern society, especially those who don't hunt, often take for granted. It is good to be occasionally reminded that there are others competing for those same resources, and we should not take our place in the food chain for granted.